Good evening, I'm Micah Matera.
And I'm Ray Cortopassi.
New tonight, a scheduled meeting tonight in Thornton Township canceled before it had been able to get off the ground.
When the 5 current trustees of the township are not present, the attempt at a special meeting by Supervisor Tiffany Henyard resembled more of a soliloquy.
As the supervisor.
Breaking this morning, 3 lawsuits just announced against controversial suburban Mayor Tiffany Henyard. The plaintiffs, they are all former employees of Thornton Township and the village of Dalton.
Yeah, we've been reporting for nearly 2 years on allegations of corruption surrounding Henyard in her capacity as Dalton mayor and Thornton Township supervisor. And now we've learned from multiple sources that federal agents are in fact interviewing witnesses.
Considering that Tiffany Henyard's past includes fraud, threats of embezzlement, and other offenses, it's safe to say that she's more of a thug than anything else. With that said, let's start with what the FBI found in her home and whether or not it will result in her permanent imprisonment. Tiffany Henyard liked to be loud and proudly declare herself a super mayor until all of her crimes were revealed. What precisely is happening in Dalton, a little village? Let's begin with an overview. In addition to her role as mayor of Dalton, Tiffany Henyard also serves as Thornton Township supervisor. Allegations surfaced regarding the mayor's alleged gangster-like behavior, which led to the tiny town's demolition.
Has 2 political jobs on 2 public payrolls as mayor of South Suburban Dalton, or as she calls herself, super mayor, and supervisor of Thornton Township, where she makes over $200,000 a year. Now, before Henyard's election in 2021, Dalton was like any other suburban community with festivals, parades, and its share of problems. But today, Dalton is known more for the mayor herself and the never-ending allegations that she's used and abused her 2 offices at Dalton and Thornton Township for pricey security details, trips to Vegas, unmissable highway billboards, and the curious donation of township tax dollars to a cancer charity named for, you guessed it, Mayor Henyard.
Let us begin with the initial warning sign. Tiffany Henyard had a difficult past, but when she founded the Ty Henyard Carr Foundation, a breast cancer charity, there her cunning began to draw notice. Or lavish gifts paid for with public funds. And you might be surprised to learn that her ousted former Thornton chief of staff kept track of credit card transactions and discovered that Henyard was spending thousands of dollars on lodging and other such expenses.
Brightwood now, we are in Godly now. We in Bloomington, baby.
I can pretty much map out their entire Springfield trip on the township credit cards.
That's right. Henyard billed thousands of dollars in hotel rooms and meals during the trip to Thornton Township and Dalton credit cards. In addition, the videos show Henyard used multiple village and township vehicles owned by taxpayers to escort the caravan, including a flatbed trailer with a photographer, flying a drone, and a DJ.
We got our mayor right here coming from Dalton, Illinois, walking all the way to Springfield. Y'all make some noise for our mayor, the people's mayor.
But they didn't always walk.
We on motorbikes, baby.
At times, riding electric bikes.
Y'all see my bike?
Our township supervisor.
It looks like a misspending of tax funds. I think that's the biggest.
She also offered to sell items like hoodies and t-shirts, which were easily ordered by the Thornton Township. And when asked explicitly, she appeared hesitant to discuss the charity.
And the board vote to give your foundation $10,000.
I'm the face of the foundation. My name is Nowhere, sir. I'm the face.
You're the face. What was the purpose of going to Springfield?
Thank you, guys. Hey, she doesn't have any more comments, guys.
We're going to talk.
She doesn't have any more comments. Thanks, guys.
That's Keith Freeman, whom Henyard hired at both Dalton and Thornton Township and was part of her Springfield walk.
Look at Keith, baby.
The municipal funds were also utilized by her to create and lease enormous billboards featuring her image. Anything that was almost unlawful because she was using public funds to further her political career.
Chicago political consultant Delmarie Cobb says there would be nothing wrong if Henyard were using her own political funds for those promotional materials, especially the billboards.
I actually had a candidate years ago who was running for mayor of Dalton, and that's what we did. We bought billboards along the expressway because if you're coming and going home all day, and one of the things I always say about billboards is they're working when you're asleep.
In 2011, state lawmakers passed a law banning the practice of politicians putting their names on publicly funded signs. spurred by these tollway signs featuring former Governor Rod Blagojevich. That law does not extend to mayors or other elected officials, but election attorney Odelson believes the billboards do violate state election laws.
It's a crime. Yeah, you're using public funds for something that taxpayer dollars shouldn't be used for.
And just when you think...
Next, we have our group of goons, or as she refers to them, her security detail. She assembled them shortly after being named mayor, and she personally chose. Personnel were assigned to guard her day and night, and they were paid thousands of dollars for their overtime.
Of Officer Terry Young last May, 303 hours worked over a 2-week period. That resulted in a single paycheck of more than $13,000.
How does a person put in a 2-week pay period, 303 hours? That's impossible. That's impossible.
336
Does he never go to sleep?
In fact, there are 336 hours total in 2 weeks, meaning Young was not being paid for only 33 hours over that period. Other officers on the security detail are also racking up overtime paychecks in the multiple thousands of dollars. Mayor, mind if I ask you a couple questions about your security detail?
Absolutely not.
I'm asking her.
Yeah, she said no.
Of course. Appropriately, Tiffany was adamant that the information was necessary due to threats and other similar incidents. However, later on, people observed that the security team was also present when she went on out-of-town visits, which one of her residents found uncomfortable because the governor doesn't usually have the same level of detail.
Your critics say that you have a significant security detail. First of all, how large is your police department in Dalton, and what is your security detail?
So we have about 45 officers in our village. My security is warranted due to the fact of threats and things of that nature, but what people are not stating is it's in our CBA. That's our collective bargaining agreement. That's our union contract. So it comes with a seat. That's what people are not saying. I didn't make this up. I didn't just create this and say, I want security.
It's wrong, and there's a time to hold people responsible and accountable for their actions. But at some point, there would be 2 officers or 3 officers, and depending on if there was some type of event, it would be.
In the meantime, people began to face reprisals for refusing to back Henyard.
They're facing yet another lawsuit. This time is from a barbershop owner. Tyrone Isom Jr. claims Dalton officials improperly denied him a business license. He claims he was working with the village to buy and renovate the building. Then he was told his license was...
She was also accused by others of dismissing employees for not complying with her requests, avoiding eavesdropping on others, and gathering information about her enemies, among other things.
This morning, 3 lawsuits just announced against controversial suburban Mayor Tiffany Henyard. The plaintiffs, they are all former employees of Thornton Township and the village of Dalton. They are all alleging wrongful termination. They include a former HR manager, a public works administrative assistant, and the buildings department director. Their allegations include retaliation and firings over things that they refused to do for Henyard, like punishing business owners who did not support her, suppressing FOIA requests, and also the requests, they say, to dig up dirt on other employees. An attorney for the women says that there are several other similar lawsuits right now in the works.
Another new lawsuit filed against embattled Dalton Mayor and Thornton Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard.
This time by a 20-year Thornton Township employee who says he was wrongly fired after refusing to comply with an alleged scheme by Henyard's team. The lawsuit says Henyard and her special assistant, Keith Freeman, pressured Dwayne Thrash to fire a school attorney and replace her with another law firm. Thrash claims he was offered a $10,000 pay increase weeks prior to facilitating this change. After he refused, he says he was fired less than a month later. We've reached out to Mayor Henyard's team about this lawsuit and have not heard back.
Following all of this drama, the FBI would want to talk to her, and the investigation suggests she may be hiding even darker secrets. House, the FBI was compelled to launch an investigation after village trustees repeatedly complained about Henyard's improper use of public cash.
Dalton residents had enough, and in April, Dalton's trustees voted to open an investigation into Mayor Henyard and invited everyone from the state's attorney to the FBI to come to Dalton and open the books. Well, trustees got their wish when we broke the news that FBI agents were in fact interviewing witnesses as part of a federal investigation. And then entering the fray,
The FBI spoke with several witnesses about Henyard, and some of them reiterated claims that the mayor was taking revenge on several people for not lending her money.
Derriere with $1 bills. That type of activity belonged at a strip joint or at a private club, not in a village-owned and operated building.
I'm asking that the video be shown. I'm asking that no adult parties be held at the Melody Fitness Center. This is what they're doing. Excuse me, Friday when we went over there was liquor on the premise. The young people IDs were not being checked.
You know, there's children in this room. This should not be shown.
The room.
This should not be shown at a board meeting.
Trustee Pearson.
No, it shouldn't.
Mayor would be under new business, a rental policy.
It was important to ascertain whether the millions of dollars she possessed, wasting was either unlawful or merely unethical.
You can be highly legal and unethical at the same time.
So we all can agree this is highly incompetent and unethical. A little bit of both. Because how could someone do this thinking they could be able to get away with it? They're too incompetent to have this much money. They pissed it away, basically. And then unethical. But is it illegal? That's the question. And that's why we have the FBI. They served subpoenas on the township and the village. The federal prosecutors have charged Keith Freeman, Henyard's former top aide, with bankruptcy fraud. And now Freeman is now cooperating with the trustees investigating Henyard's spending.
While the situation for Henyard didn't seem promising because Lori Lightfoot, the mayor assigned to handle the matter, discovered that Henyard was even making purchases on Amazon with tax money for personal use. Former Chicago mayor and federal prosecutor Lori Lightfoot discusses her preliminary findings from an investigation into Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard's spending habits and her administration. Among the key findings are that there hasn't been an annual report or audit since 2021, putting the general fund's daily operations in the red by $3.65 million for police. Department spending increased by 21% as of June 18. 2 policemen received overtime compensation over their base salary. More than $6 million worth of 589 approved checks were not distributed to vendors. 6 credit cards with infrequently supplied receipts were being looked into, including expenditures totaling $40,000 to Amazon.
I knew we were broke. And the way she broke it down and just let the other residents hear what was really going on, because Tiffany Henyard always talk about fake news, and this is...
Former FBI agent Ross Rice addressed the matter, stating that it was clear that the Henyard investigation's purview was growing.
It tells me that the investigation is expanding. It's not just focusing on the city of Dalton.
Former FBI agent Ross Rice says the subpoenas revealed the burgeoning scope of the federal criminal investigation into Thornton Township Supervisor and Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard. One subpoena focuses entirely on Henyard, including 2 businesses she owns, a restaurant and a property management company, as well as Henyard's political fund and the charity bearing her name.
As a woman raised the issue of the sexual harassment, things escalated. Mistreatment she allegedly endured while serving as Tiffany's helper.
It's overwhelming. At first it was like it was just me by myself. And a year later for me to see y'all standing with me. Thank you so much, Mom. This means so much to me. But I still want everybody to know I'm standing with you too if you're a survivor with me. Please.
But she is prepared to navigate her way out of the problem despite the ongoing investigations, because Henyard committed one of the dirtiest and oldest deeds in. The attempt to shift blame for the problem is being made by the book. She attempted to blame Keith Freeman, her former chief aide, for everything.
You can see the direction Henyard's defense is going, her defense team is going. He is going to attempt to shift the blame for the questionable spending onto Keith Freeman, Henyard's former top aide.
Keith Freeman made the decision on how these funds are being used. Keith Freeman is going on these trips. You understand, this is a new mayor. This is someone that is new to this job. She relied on Freeman to tell her. He's telling her this is how we do things.
The attorney is suggesting that Henyard, as a new mayor, relied on Freeman to guide her in how things were done in Dalton, implying that she was not responsible for decisions made regarding the extravagant purchases. This is her defense. It's all Keith Freeman's fault. You may have noticed that if you watched my video where she was under deposition, basically saying, I don't run the day-to-day. It's all Keith Freeman, the village administrator. It's all on him. I didn't know what's going on. You can tell this is where the defense is going.
She is also unabashedly attempting to win re-election as the Thornton. Since she makes the most money there, she serves as the township supervisor.
Cares about the seniors, because the seniors is the ones that are going to probably vote for her to come back as supervisor. That's what she cares about. She cares about what the seniors think about her and what she is doing. That's why she needed to spend 40 minutes uninterrupted. She did not want to have a regular meeting where she can't speak for 40 minutes uninterrupted without people either saying something or calling out or even going back and forth with the trustees. So this was her way of getting her message out there with the media and everyone watching, for her to reach her constituents. The people who are going to vote for her is those seniors. The seniors probably want these events, they want these services, and they're looking at other situations, and she needs to convince them that she is the woman for the job.
It's evident that she believes she can get away with everything, but with the FBI pursuing her, it's just a matter of time until she is in prison. What else will we learn about her and are? That's all for now. Remember to leave your thoughts in the comments section below for further updates. There may be much worse secrets concealed behind the scenes. Let's wait and see. Select the bell icon.